Hey guys, Jen Graves here. So we're back with chapter 4 of No Longer Human, our discussion talking about it, what's going on and all that other stuff. So last time, our guy finally um, hooked up with the girl that was kind of the leader guy's um, second second like in command, his lover, kind of, even though they weren't together. He felt that way. The leader of the group that was basically going to blow stuff up and whatnot because of like people getting fired and whatnot, um, and people that just found fault with different things because they had to blame it on somebody. So we're there. At the end of chapter 3, he met this girl that's a host, like a Orin Host Club. How they come in, you don't really come in and you don't sleep with them or anything. They just spend your time with you. Or if it was like a maid cafe and your maid came back to you every time and could sit down and talk to you, kind of like that. They're just there to give you time, not anything else. So, and then you order drinks or whatever for them. Um, so the girl from that, though, that host that he went home with because she saw that he was basically living down in an alley, which he hadn't started. He just sat down basically, and she got him to come back with her, um, and all that other stuff. Which I'm going to refer to her as the girl with the butterfly tattoo. So if I could say butterfly tattoo, you'll know who I'm talking about. She has a butterfly tattoo on one of her hands, and that's really her redeeming quality from a lot of the other girls that are in this. So we'll do that. I'll try and give you guys some kind of like a little code name for who it is that I'm talking about girl wise. Or if it's a guy, I'll give you his name, because well, really the only person that you need their name is his best friend. Everybody else will be somebody else. So, um, but so the girl gave him money while he was leaving, asked if he would come back at some point. She gave him 50,000 yen, um, which is basically around $500, a little less, a little more than that in Japan. I think it's probably closer to like $600 or something there. Correct me if I'm wrong. If you know that, put it down below. You know, but 50,000 yen. That's how much it is. So she gave him that. Um, so it was a month later, and I guess he has been seeing her or whatever, and she's been giving off this lonely aura, like there's nothing else. She's depressed basically, um, and she goes in and basically brings up the idea that they should almost do a couple's suicide attempt, with that, and be together, so to speak. They should do that, and they should um, basically take themselves out, for better or for worse. Basically, you know, things like that just kind of happen, especially in No Longer Human. Crazy stuff happens all the time. Um, so he is now returning back to his place after being with this girl for a while. And he is going back to his house to get his allowance that his parents send to him. Um, and he knows what day it is, so he's going to try to come back and get it. That way he can basically have money besides what she already gave him. Um, the door to his place is open, and the scene that we're seeing is there's a lot of stuff there. People have went through stuff. There's alcohol. There's all this other stuff, and they've been staying here for a while. There's a tea kettle on the floor, and he fills it, and it's still warm. So they haven't been gone very long. Um, they found out they've just been leaving the door open. I guess it's the leader guy and two other guys, and so I guess they've just been leaving the door open and not locking it and just coming over and staying, living off of the guy's family basically too. Um, so guy's still pressuring that he's the captain. And he's scared because the guy won't stop knocking, and he knows that now that this has happened, he basically slept with the girl that's part of the group, that he's become this liability to them. He knows exactly what their plans are, all this other stuff, and is kind of scared that they're not going to let him leave. Um, and we have days ticking down: day 1, day 2, day 3. Another thing is he's just worried about the money. The money's not there. Um, Finally, in the back of his head, the door has stopped banging. He finally got one, and it was somebody giving him his mail. And now he's still the money. The money is coming in. We'll know what it is. He gets a letter from his brother explaining it, which I'm going to read this letter to you guys so you can kind of see it, or know what it says, instead of what's going on in me describing that. So it says, "Dear Yozo, we heard from your school that you don't have enough credits and will need to repeat your year. Father was very angry about this. He says he's disowning you. I don't know what you think your courses from here forward, but Father says he will no longer send your allowance. Signed, his brother." And the door continues to knock. Now his family, because of his father, has disowned him. It's really happened. He's amazed that it happened. And he's now told himself that he knows that staying in this apartment that they were paying for doesn't matter anymore. He's not getting any more allowance. They're probably not going to pay for it anymore. It doesn't matter. Packed his stuff up and is leaving. And the shelves in Japan where you actually put like your futon and all that other stuff into it, he's actually climbing up using that into the ceiling and gonna climb over a couple places somewhere else. So he has climbed out over somebody else's, jumped down to another hikikomori guy that looks like he's playing rom-coms. So, however that is, whatever, welcome to the NHK, I guess. Walk through, the guy spooks the guy a little bit, and he gets away. The guy is no longer there. The guy is still standing outside, the leader of the group, and he kind of still ducks away from him. And now he's gotten some idea of what he can do. Starting out, he decides he's going to stay at like an internet cafe because you can go there, rent a spot for a few hours and sleep and whatever else, play video games or anything else like that. And then he basically gets all the way back to where he's basically homeless, sleeping on a bench, stuff like that. And Hariko, or Maseo, so it's Hariko Maseo. Hariko is his first name. Also probably just call him Maseo so you guys know what it is. but he's been living on the street for a month. Finally, the loneliness started kicking in with him, and he's decided to go hang out with Maseo, had his phone number and stuff, so um, telling him what's been going on because he was lonely, that he's been disowned, all this other stuff. And Maseo is just, if you apologize to the school, you could probably go back. You don't have to worry about it. You know, you'd be able to do it. You know, and his retort back to that is, school's basically boring. Why would I go back there? And I like this that they do in the book too. Maseo actually brings up how he basically made this full transformation from living in a high life with an apartment and being downgraded from that into the little shack and all that, and kind of is asking him if giving up and becoming poor, if he's also giving up women, and I guess attracted to men. And his thing back to him is, love lasts as long as the money does. So right there, guys, we know that he's got that feeling that love comes from money. If you don't have money, then you don't have love. So, and I mean, we just kind of know that. And, you know, it's kind of that whole thing of him going to the brothels and all the other stuff, building up from the first part of the book, the first chapter, and all that, of when there's something there, you know, people aren't going to do anything with you unless there's money. Money is the key to happiness, basically. And that people that hand out money, that are good people that do that, are basically just kind of stupid. Like the girl that bought him the laptop, that was the part of the group. You know, it doesn't matter, because the only reason why at the end of the day they're going to be there is for the money, or because they're stupid, you know. I.e., a lot of this is just happening because of the women. You know, we're seeing that, but of course we haven't gotten into really him focusing on any of the guys in his life except for Maseo. And he goes back to thinking about the girl with the butterfly tattoo on her hand, how that was the only person that basically liked him out of everybody, because she was the lady that contributed the most money to him. Stuff like that. And he's got it in his mind that even though he called his friend to come and spend time with him and all that, even though he's doing that because he has no money, he himself has become worthless. So that's kind of a big thing right now in the book, especially with book one, of us building up to that whole human existence kind of thing. And his friend tells him all the negatives, all this, he has no money, no place to live, will he work, all this other stuff. And the guy pulls out the laptop that he got and says, I can still work, I'm going to be an author. So, going into that, and he believes that he will make a killing like Harry Potter. So, don't you like it when they bring up stuff like that in different books and whatnot? Stuff that we all know, that's like traditional culture that we know. And he wants to kind of, he says it's not a diary, but he kind of wants to write a journal about himself. Writing, great thing. He brings up the first line. First line is always something that people pick out. So, something really good. Friend buys him a drink. And so this is one of the big things that happens. This is one of the turning points in it, especially getting close here to the end. Friends run out of money from them drinking. And the guy says, I've got all my riches here. Pulls out 20,000 yen, or a little over 200 bucks. And his friend says, we need girls. Going back to what they did before, when they would get the girls and, you know, be in separate rooms, but in the same place. Is kind of what they did. Guy says, let's go to a host club. I know a good one. And they end up going back to the place where the lady with the butterfly tattoo is at. She recognizes him. He says that they want booze. This is all the money that he's got. And the friend is with her, and the guy is with, our main character is with somebody else. So Miseo is with the butterfly tattoo lady, and he's with another girl. And he's got all this stuff going through his head, that this girl isn't really his girl. He doesn't care if Maseo kisses her. It's just a kiss. That's all it is. It's only a kiss. Doesn't mean very much. And finally, I said it 3 times. Finally, we've gotten to the point where we see a little glimpse of humanity in him. He is now bringing up to himself that he cares about this lady. He doesn't want Maseo to kiss her. That's his woman. He speculates that a whole lot. So he is bringing it up, all that other stuff. The girl was kind of playing hard to get to, so they didn't actually go through with the kiss. But it was still sitting there. That's one of the things that's really good about this, is the psychological part with it, of our main character. It really gripped him. It really gripped him that Maseo is about to kiss this girl that I have feelings for, and all that other stuff. It's basically, I'm upset you're going to kiss my woman, you know, kind of thing. Really good stuff. And Maseo kind of gives her a couple hits at what she looks like. Girls that he prefer, he likes them bigger in the chest, stuff like that. And he doesn't like his girl sad. Brought it up. And now we're back to the guy thinking he's different, because Maseo is one of his friends. He doesn't consider a lot to it. He considers that his opinion has always been the overall goal. Now he's second guessing himself, because he's thought that this is my girl. I thought she was cute and all this other stuff. I want to be with her. And what Maseo said actually got to him. He's like, well, Maseo thinks that she's this, so what do I do? Really rattles him, and he gets sick from drinking a lot. Where we're going to go from there. You know, he ends up going home with the girl again, which is good, you know, because he likes her. So And you actually found out that the 200 yen that he brought wasn't enough. She actually footed the bill for paying for the rest of what he drank, what his friend drank, and everything else because he drank so much. And she brings it up. She says that between him and Maseo, they used up her whole last week's salary that she had come in. And she's waited for him to come back. She's waited for him and all that other stuff. And he's finally come back. They love each other. They want to be together. And she brings up, which, remember guys, at the beginning of the chapter, or before when she brought it up, she wanted them to go basically jump into the sea together. So now that they're watching something with the seas come up on her flat screen or whatever kind of TV it is, and she brings up that she wants to go see this sunrise. She wants to go see it and everything else. Again, our main character thinks that he owes it to her. Yozo thinks that he owes it to her because of her giving up her salary, stuff like this. With those feelings kind of being in there a little bit. They catch the first train, and she finally tells him why she got the butterfly tattoo. She says it's supposed to be a tattoo that keeps me from feeling depressed. It's supposed to cheer her up that she has a butterfly in her hand, and she actually waves it around and stuff, showing that the butterfly is supposed to be moving. They go sit on the beach, and they have some coffee, and she's depressed and whatever's going on, she brings up to the whole thing that she doesn't want to live anymore, stuff like that. And he's finally gotten the whole string, because he's still in that whole state of, because he lost the inheritance and stuff and all that other stuff from his dad, he doesn't have somebody footing the bill, that he's just ready to give everything up as well. So it's one of the things that kind of happens in this. A good thing with No Longer Human is it actually lets you know all these things that us as humans sometimes feel, and how we can learn how to be above those. And I mean, this is a really good series for getting you prepared for that. Reading No Longer Human, I think, actually helps you in the long run, especially as you get older. It helps you know, like, hey, all this stuff happens in the story. What is something that you can have that's different for it, though? What is something that you can prove that you're above that? So, like I said, they're going to go do this together. They're going to go drown in the ocean. He thought it was an excellent idea, the whole double suicide thing, or lover suicide. That's another thing that they call it. They're trying to figure out themselves how people do it, because they're bringing up, you take off your shoes before you go in the ocean. Something corny, You leave behind your shoes so people know that you did it. Basically, it's dumb, but and they're going in, and she kind of pleads with him as they're going in that she doesn't want to die alone. And he feels like that's something shameful. He has to go through with it, but we're going to get there. We're going to see what happens. And he goes through with it. And again, we have the whole image of him being a mannequin. His dad basically being what ruled him. And him doing this is him sticking it to his dad. And obviously that's not good at all. That's none of that is ever good. So, but he says, "Dad, your plaything just broke," because he's viewed himself as that. He's realized that he is in the water, that he's doing this, and that he can't go through with it. Gets saved, gets pulled out of the water. People brought him back to life. And that he has also just broken his promise to the butterfly tattoo lady, because they didn't go together. And we kind of get a sad view right here of her with her hand up, like right before she died, she was watching the butterfly fly, kind of thing. You know, and they said that they can't get her arm back down because of the rigor mortis. And we kind of go back to the whole selfish thing. He, you know, was going to write his whole thing of the book that he was going to write about his life, basically. And he is kind of on the whole thing of, I've thought of the first line from my diary, and or of my thing, even though all this has happened. So really crazy stuff in this one, guys. I mean, you know, that happened, and this by no means is a book that is meant for children. I don't even think that it's actually correctly aged, because it says age 16, and by that time, I mean, guys, to be honest, a lot of people have had some of the stuff that's happened in this happen to them, but I mean, are you really ever prepared for it? You know, I don't think a lot of people are. But we're to the black pages where it has that line or that sentence from the original text. It says, "Around dawn, the word death slipped from her lips for the first time. She too seemed to be weary of the effort of being human. And when I thought about my fear of the world, the complications, money, the movement, women, my studies, I just couldn't bear the idea of living anymore. So with a light heart, I decided to go along with her proposal. The woman died. I alone was saved." So deep stuff, you know, from what happened. And I actually want to go back. I actually think that this is a poem, and the person who wrote it off of the poem, maybe, wrote the series. I mean, and it's a great series, guys. You know, understanding everything, being able to see that, you know, being quote unquote human with it, stuff like that. So, dissecting this part though, around dawn, the word death slipped from her lips for the first time. She too seemed to be weary of the effort of being human. You know, the girl was lonely. This has been building up a lot for her. And when I thought about my fear of the world, the complications, the money, the movement that he was in with the group, the women, and the studies, school that he had, I just couldn't bear the idea of living anymore. And guys, I mean, that's kind of like when you get overwhelmed, you know, and all that, and you think that there's got to be something better, there's no way out, or whatever. This is a shortcut. That's not true. You know, we're going to take a side note here, I guess. That is definitely not true. There is always a way through it, whether you think that it's going to be worse or anything like that. There's always a sense that you're stronger going forward with it. If you you live with what regrets you have. You know, there's not really ever a reason to have that happen. So, throwing that out there for you guys. I know some people are going to watch this, and you might have had those thoughts. I have a family member that's had those thoughts. And, I mean, you know, it's okay to have the thoughts. Don't get me wrong. It's okay to have the thoughts. It's not okay to go through with it, you know. So, you can totally go from there, though, and move forward. There is always something else. And one of the things that I always tell said person in my family is read manga. You know, you can read this, you can live this experience, you can get all that. But at the end of the day, if you have a good series that you can jump into and read, a series that you can follow, then there's never anything, you know. And I told them I could never have an idea like that because, well, I could have an idea like that, sure. But I could never do that. Why? I'm a manga tuber. I really enjoy it, and I don't think I could stop my life to do that, to not enjoy the manga, you know. Maybe jokingly, if we ran out, maybe, but that's not ever going to happen. You know, there's people always writing, and if not, I would write my own, you know, something like that. A friend would write one, whatever. So, you know, jokingly, you always put stumps in your way to, or hurdles that seem like they're impossible to get over that. And that's one thing that I've always had to tell said person in my family of that, is that you always put something in your way that it can never happen. So, so the idea of living anymore. So with a light heart, I decided to go along with her proposal. The girl proposing, this is what's going to happen. And ... the woman died, I alone was saved. So there's a reason, guys. While this character is saved, there's still loads to come. But that is the entire thing of No Longer Human, Volume 1. Really good series, guys. Highly recommend it. Great series for you to read, for you to enjoy, and for you to move forward with it. Taking the experience that it gives you and having more come out of it, which is why I enjoy reading manga so much, because everything can grow off of that. So anyway, let me show the back of it. This is kind of the picture that's on that the guy got to see. I think this is the only one they really do that, but this is what our characters kind of looked like the whole time. And then changed his appearance to a hikikomori one where he's got just a button up that's hanging open and a t-shirt and longer hair that goes down to here, stuff like that. So that's going to be it for chapter 4, book 1. And yeah, I hope you guys are still enjoying this. We'll move forward from here. We're going to be on book 2 now, chapter 5. And yeah, so I hope you guys will let me know down below if you enjoy this. Like I said, I'm going to upload this whole series and have it done that way, and then have at the very end of it where I will kind of give you an overview of the whole series, what I liked about it and stuff like that. But these are just kind of in-depth stuff for the chapters, and kind of give you guys a little bit of taste and what my opinions and stuff are with that. So moving forward, guys, thanks for watching. Jen Graves, out. Bye.